Most Osage don't live past 50. You have to make it. The head rats come to you see?
Man, he's cold-blooded. And tell you, man, De Niro is in top form here. It makes you wish that Martin Scorsese made a movie every year so he wouldn't have to go out and make bullshit.
I know, right?
God damn. I mean, y'all don't know De Niro. When you're doing that grandpa shit and all that kind of stuff, nah, man. This is top De Niro right here. We're going to be at the Broadway Comedy Club again, December 8th. That's a Friday. Going to be in the Red Room show at 10 p.m. And I'll start this review by saying, America, Martin. Where they say, you know what, if you apply yourself and work hard, pick them bootstraps up, there's no telling what success and wealth you will achieve. I mean, that's the American dream, right?
Sure. You better wake up.
Or if you're white, you can just take people's shit, especially minorities. Mm-hmm. You say you found oil on your land? That's crazy. Boy, you funny. Out. My oil, bitch. My oil, punk.
Oh, you want to leave? All right, that's cool. I just will kill you.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, y'all can stay in this town if you want to, before we burn this or bomb it, or flood it.
Yeah.
Can you swim? Heard you black folks don't like to get your hair wet. And you know what? We brought on ourselves anyway for being uppity, trying to have white folks shit.
Right.
Who you think you are? Who you think you are? You wearing hats like white people.
Oh, right. I don't want to die with his head.
You better get that hat up. Well, if I was a white man, I'd just come over there and take that shit right now. Now, listen, this is not an anti-white thing. In fact, this is what the movie that we're talking about deals with. White thievery. And by the way, it was made by a white man. So, a man of cinema. Old Martin Scorsese. We're talking about Killers of the Flower Moon. And by the way, some people like, oh, that's what the movie's about? Because they ain't heard about what this movie is.
I know.
They heard it was 3 hours and 24 minutes.
They know that, and they know it's got a title that they can't explain.
Yeah, shit. Some people thought this was a science fiction film.
Yeah, right.
Killers of the moon people? What the moon?
What the moon do to
anybody? Yes, this is another piece of early 20th century American history where a group of people, a race of people, again, have been set generations behind, probably in poverty for generations, because white people robbed them of their opportunity. Once you get ahead, they're like, you know what? Oh, you got all this together? Oh, for me? Right. Oh, thank you.
It just don't feel right that they have it and we don't.
Yeah.
Right?
No, you pause. You made this shit for me. Yeah, you just didn't know it. What is this about in detail, though? I'll tell you what. We're going to do a lot of things. First of all, we're going to look at this and see if this is going to be another movie that pisses white people off. In these days, that kind of history don't fly.
Oh, that's right. They don't like having that thrown in their face.
Oh, no. Make me look like the bad guy. How dare you? I've done nothing but good things.
Oh, I'm supposed to feel bad over some stuff I did.
Yeah. And we know. Listen, we know you didn't do it. But the thing is that people just don't like that history. Mm-hmm. No, we supposed to be waving flags and eating hot dogs, man. But there's that. We're going to talk about that. Is this movie going to piss people off? Is this movie any good? Especially with this movie being 3.5 hours long. Is it worth that time sitting at the theater? Let us know before you talk about anything else about that. Well, we'll talk about that and everything else. But first, we're going to watch this trailer.
They outsmarted everybody. They have a say.
Rich, bitch! Shit, they ain't no Native American dance. They just happy. That's the happy dance.
just bathing in the oil.
Yeah, hell yeah. Shit, we white rich. The hell with Mother Nature.
I ain't got nothing but regret.
A lot of people still don't know that this is based on a book by David Grann, Killers of the Flower Moon. The Osage murders and the birth of the FBI. And if you couldn't tell by the trailer, it's basically Indians found a bunch of oil in their land. Native Americans found a bunch of oil in their land. The Osage tribe found a bunch of oil on their land. And white people said, it's ours.
Yeah.
More in particular, it was, and I say white people, it wasn't like that. It wasn't, because that's what a lot of people think, that they think this is a whole thing with a whole, the whole state turn on these Native Americans right here. And that's not what happened. So this takes place in Osage County, Oklahoma, in the 1920s. And the Osage tribe, they were some of the wealthiest Americans at the time. I mean, they were in the top tier of some of the richest people, some of the wealthiest Americans living in the country. And, since they were able to pretty much live like everybody else and have nice things, drive nice cars, and the white citizens were not as threatened, and they start to even intermarry with each other. They start to live side by side.
And even work for him.
And that's what got him.
Yeah.
you got a white what? A chauffeur? Maid? Oh, hell no. No, but mostly people were cool. They would give them looks, but they'd be like, but they're rich, shit we can really do. And who knows?
And they're good people.
They ain't bothering nobody.
Yeah.
In fact, you know what? They actually give money back to the city, man. They buy all the nice cars and all the nice jewelry. Listen, it's good. We don't like it, but no telling when I might need something from them.
Right.
So let me just shut my mouth.
Money is flowing back and forth. Everybody's doing well.
Everybody's fine. But,
not good enough.
There's always a greedy one. Rob De Niro plays Deputy Sheriff Hale. And it should be hell, H-E-L, because he brought hell down on these Native Americans, man, by orchestrating. It's H-E-L-E, actually. He orchestrated a plan, just a whole web of murder, where he got several citizens from the town involved and just murdering these Native Americans so that he could pretty much collect the money. And he would collect the money through marriage, and not the marriage that he has, but his nephew marrying one of the women who, what was her name?
Molly. Molly Burkhart.
Yeah, through marrying one of the Native American women, one of the Osage women. If he married her, and I don't know if people just, mysteriously disappeared or died, then little by little, once it got right down to it, once she's the last one, well, all that money would go to him. I mean, her.
Yeah, right.
And if something happened to her, I can take care of all this money for you. Don't you worry about it.
I'll use it to raise the kids.
Yeah.
Me and the kids will split it unless something happens to the kids, and then I guess it would all be mine.
Yeah, man.
How unfortunate.
And because he was considered local law enforcement, he had it, man. He had it down. He had it to where everybody was in his pocket. So,
well, even more so, he was a friend to the Osage people.
And I was about to say,
they loved him.
This guy, he befriended them, spoke their language, and while people died, he was the last person they suspected. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't do that to us. Oh, Sheriff Hale, he likes us, man. He was very deep with his plotting, man. So to get right down to the movie, the length of this film, again, 3.5 hours. People saying, before you do anything else, answer that damn question for me. Is it worth sitting up there? Is it too long? Yeah, I would say it don't need to be 3.5 hours long. And I would tell you, near the end, I kind of felt it. But God damn, this is really good. I was talking a lot of shit about this film, man.
You were.
And I got to tell you, no, it did not need to be 3.5 hours long. I could sit up there. I was editing that movie while I was watching it. In between the times I was really enjoying it, there are moments where I look at it and I say, you can snip here, cut here. There's a lot of things you could have done.
You could.
Yeah, as somebody who has edited for a long time, editing was my job, so maybe that's why I think this way. But no, a lot of movies don't need to be 3.5 hours long, and this is not one of them. But since it is, did I have a problem with it? No. I mean, I sat there and watched it, and I'm gonna tell you something. I enjoyed it the whole time. I mean, there was probably a part near the end where I was just like, all right, I listen, I resisted for a long time, but what time is it,
I only pulled my phone out to check the time just because there's a somewhat major character that shows up so much later in the film. I was like, oh, we're just now getting to that.
Oh, yeah.
But, man, I showed up to the movie today exhausted. And I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. And it had me the whole time.
I felt the length, but it felt justified most of the time. It was only... until it got to a certain point, I was like, all right, come on now. But, and even then, something happened after that. But let me just say this. So what exactly is it that keeps a 3.5 hour movie such as Killers of the Flower Moon? What keeps it going? What keeps it so good that you are watching this the whole time and not having a problem with that? I had a problem with Oppenheimer being 3 hours. And I did not have the same problem with this at all. And I could look at this and tell you exactly what it is, why I think, Oppenheimer is getting by on being Barbieheimer, instead of, just taking the movie on its own. Not that it's bad. Oppenheimer is a great film, but I don't think it's, I think it's heavily flawed with that runtime. Now let me explain to you why this works, at least for me. And you can tell me if you agree or not. First of all, you're looking at this and saying, man, I don't want to, listen, Martin Scorsese is a great director. And I'm sure this is a great film. But this is some heavy stuff, man. I don't want to be depressed for 3.5 hours, man. Okay, now let me just say this. Because some of y'all thinking that this is some historical epic that Martin Scorsese is doing. And to a certain point it is. But for all of y'all who love old Marty, man, that's that gangster shit going on here. This is a straight up crime film right here. And and for a lot of it, not all of it, for a lot of it, it's just a country ass Goodfellas.
It's interesting because the book is written in a different structure. It's written from the point of view of the FBI trying to solve this mystery. So it's more like a mystery and a police procedural. And he took it and went the opposite way with I don't want to do a procedural. You're in the heads. You're focused mostly on these charismatic criminals and watch them do it. Like you say, like Goodfellas. It's like that's his thing.
Yeah. And listen, if you know Goodfellas, I'm gonna tell you the very surprising thing about this film. And this is, I'll admit to you, man, I don't want to sit up there and be depressed for 3.5 hours. So thank God.
And 2 hours of it is heavy.
Oh, well, I would even, you know what? It's heavy, but this movie has a lot of humor, man. I was laughing surprisingly a lot in this film. And I'm not saying that, they're doing, straight up comedy, but no, some of these characters, some of the lines are great. Some of the characters are just so dumb, you gotta laugh at them. Some of these characters feel so natural that you laugh at them. And they do put a lot of humor in there with the dialogue and with the characters. And there are moments in here that feels straight up like Goodfellas humor. Now, if you know Goodfellas, that's one of the fascinating things about the film is that there's a lot of just a horrible, violent crime going on. And you're dealing with these very horrible people, scary people.
Yeah.
Joe Pesci's one of the most frightening people in cinema history, man.
Yeah.
Shit, you didn't put him in a goddamn horror film. But even while they're committing crimes, you're laughing. And with this movie right here, you do have those moments where they're committing crimes and then they'll screw up something and you just sit up there just laughing at them, just, messing this whole thing up.
It's supposed to be a suicide, you dumbbell. I don't know why. I told him just like you told him. And don't swear on your children. Makes you look foolish.
I mean, there's a comedy right here, man. That I was very surprised to see a scene like that in the film. And listen, it is a heavy film, but it keeps it from being too depressing, man. I promise you that if you go see this, a lot of moments like you see right here are going to keep you entertained and keep you going through this movie, man. I mean, there are moments, maybe small moments where the humor just felt a little bit off, but they were very small. For the most part, I really enjoyed how they did it and they handled it well here.
Yeah, they do. They do. It keeps it going. I felt mostly through so much of it, just in a state of shifting between depression and anger throughout the whole thing. So it was nice to have some moments like that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it for that. By the way, that's, of course, Leonardo DiCaprio playing
Ernest.
Robert De Niro's characters.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I get it, Dad. Thank you.
Sorry.
You're like my mom when I was in church trying to do my speeches and she'd be trying to talk for me. I'd be looking at her, she'd be doing the mouth. I had to stop one time, like, I got it, Mom. No, that is Robert De Niro's character of Deputy Sheriff Haley. That's his nephew, Ernest, right there. And we'll talk about Leonardo DiCaprio's character in a little bit. Because I think he's very good too. Speaking of which, I think that's another thing. The performances and the characters.
Yes.
Get you through this. I've already talked about De Niro. De Niro is Sheriff Hale here, man. He's the main villain of the movie, man. You know, like I said, he's just strategically plotting against the Osage tribe, man, while pretending to be their friend, and it's diabolical. You know,
It is.
It's you know he's
It's cold-blooded.
it is, man. But the other thing is that De Niro is just so good, and his constant plotting is just kind of, I mean, he's such a good villain in this, man. That his constant plotting is something that just kept me engaged.
Shows itself to you that Bill Smith didn't take the proper care of Minnie the way he could have.
Most Osages don't live past 50.
You have to make it the head rights come to you see?
Man, you know, he's cold-blooded. And tell you, man, De Niro is in top form here. It makes you wish that Martin Scorsese made a movie every year so he wouldn't have to go out and make bullshit.
I know, right?
God damn. I mean, y'all don't know De Niro. When you're doing that grandpa shit and all that kind of stuff, nah, man. This is top De Niro right here. The score, I thought, was amazing, man. The score is really, it's not orchestrations. The score is slide guitar and then every now and then Native American drum beats.
Osages don't live past 50.
Were these women dying with how Osage suffered from illness? You have to make it the head rights come.
I just wanted to play that again so you could hear that music, the score for this, man. I thought that really helped. And it helped, again,
It keeps you in place.
Yeah, it keeps you in place. It keeps you, and plus I think it's something that, again, keeps us from being something that could be very heavy for the running time, keeps it from being too heavy because it's just, it's a nice score, man. It's actually really kind of funky. You know?
I know, I was thinking that too.
Leonardo DiCaprio, man, as Ernest, you could look at him already tell he's dumb.
Boy, is he dumb.
He look like a ventriloquist dummy right there.
I just thought he's so dumb. It's like, so you see how your uncle is planning all this. You don't see where this ends up.
Well, that's what makes his character so bad. First of all, Ernest is dumb. In fact, he's so dumb, he got his ass whooped like a little boy. I ain't gonna say no more. You'll see in the movie, like he got a spanking, like a little boy. He dressed like a little boy. So, and it's funny because when you look at his character is actually Rick Dalton from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Combined with the teeth of Candace Candy from Django Unchained.
I was like, where do I know those teeth from? That's where it's from.
It's almost like he took the teeth from the set of Django Unchained and kept them for just such an occasion like this movie right here. His character is dumb, but does not get a pass because he's not too dumb to know that he's doing his uncle's bidding.
Yeah.
And that's what makes him almost worse than his uncle because he's in this fascinating position. I love that they center a lot on his character. They go a lot between De Niro and him, but really it's a lot with him because I'm gonna tell you, he's in the fascinating position of he's in love with an Osage woman, man. He's befriending these people just like his uncle, like his uncle's doing, man. But the whole time, while he's married to this woman, he's helping his uncle to plot these murders. And doing something a lot worse. I won't even say what it is, man. But that, when you look at him, it's just like, all right, you know what? You're dumb, but you're not that dumb. You're complete slime.
Yeah, well, because it's like he loves his wife, but he's also destroying her at the same time with these murders.
Yeah.
And it ain't enough for him to like go, oh, I need to pick one or the other. He's just like, I'm just going to do whatever. And hey, money.
Well, that's what I want to say. Well, Mark, he loved money.
Yeah. He lets us know that.
Goddamn, love money more. Almost as much as love my woman. That's correct. I love her. I love that more. That bitch.
It depends on which day you add that.
Yeah, depending on what I want to buy that day. It's also a really cool performance to watch with Leonardo DiCaprio because he is able to subtly get across that he's got this moral dilemma going on. I mean, it ain't much, but there is a slight little bit of conscience in him, letting him know and letting us know that this is wrong. So it's really fascinating to watch this character, and I'm glad they spent a lot of time with this character.
Well, what happens is, because we've been in the age of the anti-hero, and it's with so many TV shows and movies, we're forced to be on the side of whoever is a bad person and somehow root for them, almost a Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
And it's always that well, I see this conflict, and maybe they're going to turn.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going to work it out. There's going to be a redemption arc, and that's part of what keeps you going.
Yeah. Also, the conflict is, shit, she turns 23 next year. What am I going to do?
He's like, hey, we ain't talking about that right now.
Shit. Good thing she got sisters.
And 23 is kind of old.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to be nice, man.
No, remember, he's going to that girl that just graduated from high school.
But yeah, no, he puts his wife through hell, man. And that's another thing that just is really horrible to see, just how he's just tearing his wife apart, man, because his wife loves him so much, and even she doesn't suspect that he's doing this at first. So it's hard, man. And it's felt bad for her. I wanted to get her some better help, man. You know,
I knew you were going. I'm like, he's circling the drain on this one thing.
I meant what I said. Man, I really feel bad for her, Martin. I do. Yeah. That's why I'm gonna try to get her some better help, man. Hey, this portion of the show is sponsored by BetterHelp, and I just got to stop and tell y'all about this real quick, because there's still a misconception about therapy. You got to have the most extreme situations to get therapy. Oh man, some people even, they say, I got to be depressed, I got to be suicidal. Some people, they're insensitive with it. I got to be crazy. No. Stop it. Stop that right now. Everybody has been up at night. They got a lot of stuff to do and they can't sleep. Your mind is swirling. You got a lot of things going on that's keeping you a little stressed out. That's because, hey, listen, your mind might just simply need some help getting organized. And therapy can help with that. And all those other things, yes. But everybody could use a little therapy to go in and help their brain. You exercise your muscles, you get a trainer for your muscles, just think of a therapist as a trainer for your mind.
There you go.
There you go.
Fortify your mind.
It is online help, which means it's very convenient, and everybody loves that. That's why we love to get stuff off the internet, because it's so convenient. Another thing that's convenient about this, though, is that this is something that's kept people from going to a therapist. They don't like to sit up there and looking at somebody in the face. What you looking at? If they could, I don't know, maybe do it by phone or video call, that would be perfect. And that's what you can do with BetterHelp. Also, very convenient to change your therapist if you want to. If you don't feel like you and your therapist are getting along, or it's not a good fit, don't worry about it. Let BetterHelp know. They'll switch them out. Nobody's getting any hard feelings about it. No extra cost to you. Oh, and speaking of cost, it's very affordable to do it too. And so many other benefits to getting therapy with BetterHelp.com. So listen, this is what I want you to do. Speaking of cost, I'm going to save you some money here. Don't be afraid to go out there and get your mind organized. Get BetterHelp.com/double-toasted. Again, go to BetterHelp.com/double-toasted and get 10% off your first month. I want to thank BetterHelp.com for sponsoring this portion of the show. Martin's gonna need some better help with all these segues. He's copying this down right now. I need some help. This boy's getting on my damn nerves. Also, I want to thank all of you out there for your support. Going back into the movie here, and speaking of performances, I really like the character of Molly, played by Lily Gladstone, man.
Yeah, this is a breakout for her.
No, it really is. She's gonna get nominated. I can tell you this right now. First of all, she's in a Martin Scorsese movie.
Yeah.
And and she gives a great performance. She's either morally the best character and the smartest character in the movie, and are the smartest character in the movie. She also is the heart of the film in this movie, man. She's probably the most pure character in this film. But if I had any complaints about the movie, and it's not really that big of a complaint, I wish I could have seen her character a little bit more. As the movie goes on, and there's a good reason why. I'm not going to say why, but she's in the movie a lot in the beginning, but she just starts to disappear a little bit more, having small pop-ups here and there. There's a good reason for it. I only say this because she's given such a good performance.
I know you like her so much, because before things start to go, have the downturn, just the romance between her and DiCaprio when they start.
Oh yeah,
it's like, this is really nice. I'm kind of falling in love with the two of them.
Yeah, and what's great about her is she's young, but she's got an old soul, man. At least for this character right here. And in the beginning, it hurts even more to see what happens later, because you're right, Martin. In the beginning, they do have a very sweet exchange as they start their courtship. Those sirens in the movie, by the way.
I know. I was like, wow, it's totally killing the whole effect.
They had police sirens back then.
Yeah, 1920s.
Yeah, 1920s, okay. Man. Well, the cops would just stick their head out the window and go like, woo! I know you heard those sirens.
I don't care for watching horses.
I'm a different kind of horse.
What
What was that?
I said, shut the f- and drive. Tiny, you yuck mouth son of a bitch.
He's lucky he's handsome because he had no game.
He had no game. He's so handsome that he even covered up them damn butter TV that he had, man. He spent tobacco a lot to the movie too. It's funny, Leonardo DiCaprio spends a lot of his time on screen with his bottom jaw jutted out, and I couldn't tell if that was just the character. He just had chaw down there the whole time. But I also really love some of the other characters in the movie that I don't know if they were actors or not. They have this scene where they have there it is, a Native American council come in because they're trying to figure out what are we going to do about these murders. So they get together, bring some people in from out of town, try to pool their money together to see if they can get, some detectives, private detectives to come in from out of town. Eventually try to get the federal government involved. But when they get together in this council, man, it's almost like Black Church. Yeah, right? Because my man right here, I don't know who that actor is.
He's laying it down.
So you keep in mind, we just came out of the movie tonight, so I didn't expect to see this actor. I didn't know I don't know who this actor is, but I would say he is great, man. And I don't know if he's an actual actor or somebody who just came in and just did this role right here. But what you say, he was laying it down. Yeah, that's a great scene right there. Mm-hmm. And I love how Native Americans testify because Black people, at least, sometimes we don't say the whole word, amen. Sometimes we just go like, man. But Native Americans just make noise. We need to bring in the federal government. You probably heard me laughing at that scene. I did. But it's a wonderful scene, man. And it's one of those scenes where I said, okay, if this is the kind of scene that's making this movie long, then so be it. Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you see a 3.5 hour movie, and if that's a 3.5 movie and it's the Fast and the Furious or James Bond, you're like, why? This isn't art. This is a thrill ride. It's cotton candy. We don't need that. But something like this is actual art. It's like, okay, if you need the time, then please take it.
I think this is something where people kind of pick up their own little things about the film, man. They walk away with their own little interpretations. Because a lot of times the Native Americans, it's terrible what happened to them. There's no excuse for it. They weren't portrayed as always the best people either, all the time. And I would even say that because they're intermarrying with the whites so much, I had my feelings about that. I was like, okay, since y'all are walking around wearing these fancy clothes and mingling with white people, I just felt like, now they don't like they don't like Black people. They look down on them too. Mm-hmm. So I just I ain't saying you deserved it, but I'm saying, y'all, you would treat us like shit if we were to come around. But again, I don't know. But it was something that with the way some of the Native Americans were portrayed, it seemed like they were so fascinated, and it's almost like this kind of led to some of the murders. I'm not saying they brought on themselves at all. It was just like they were so infatuated with white looks, white culture, that they just kind of had their guard down.
Yeah, they had their guard down. They felt like they had integrated. Like, hey, we're just like you. Anything you don't have, you look at, you go like, oh, that's fascinating. I kind of want that. And you guys seem to have all this and you really enjoy it. I want to enjoy it as well. But feeling that feeling of like, well, now that I have what you have and we're doing all the same things, we're connected. We're sort of the same. And they lost that. But something I do like is that, this being in Oklahoma, they constantly reference the Tulsa Massacre.
I was going to say,
they keep coming back to going like, yeah, what about this though?
Shit, hell, they were looking at the Tulsa Massacre and getting ideas. Shit, one character was taking notes. Bomb them, kill them with fire. There was also, here's another thing. I don't know why they're trying to integrate with these crooked ass white people here. I mean, they put their racism out in the open. There's a scene where they're in the office and a dude got a picture of the Klan up on the wall, like that's his mom. Got a dude riding a horse.
They got a weird thing going on where they embrace the Klan like they're just a social club.
Yeah, but in the meantime, the Klan is like, yeah, we know about these murders going on. Hey, watch yourself. The Klan was going down the street.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I thought that like these Native Americans are embracing the Klan when the Klan is clearly terrorizing black people. So I was just kind of like, in a way, y'all, man, but I didn't say you got to die. I ain't saying, because they look, they were like, oh, look at their blue eyes. Oh, look at that fair skin. And meanwhile, they're embracing the Klan. I was like, y'all are probably racist too, man. Now, I ain't saying you deserved it, but,
And something they touch on in the movie a bunch, but is really in the book, is how the white people, they like the Native Americans, but at the same time, they saw you killed a Native American. It's like, oh, it's like you killed an animal.
They didn't really care.
Yeah.
But they were so desperate to integrate, and be one of them instead of remaining to be Native American this time when they didn't like them. It was just kind of like, shit, it's a complicated situation. Again, saying that makes you sound like, well, y'all had it coming. I'm not saying that, but I don't think these rich Native Americans were all that pure either. Not that they didn't deserve this, but yeah, I think they were kind of racist themselves, man. But anyway, again, shows the complexities of this film without having to put it out there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not beating you over the head with it.
No, not at all. I would say that the end, the end, and that's when I looked, it hit the 3-hour mark, and I didn't know what time it was. I just felt it, and I was like, all right, where the hell are we right now? And I pulled out my phone and saw we at the 3-hour mark, and then they started introducing celebrity cameos, new storylines, and I was like, oh shit, man, okay, come on now, what are we gonna do here? And it felt a little disjointed, but then there's a moment where it turns into Goodfellas again, and I was just like, oh shit, this is this scene right here is worth the wait. This is really good. Yeah, man, it's I'm gonna tell you, the ending of this movie, so creative.
Yeah,
so creative.
I was wondering how you felt about that. I loved it.
No,
I thought it was a great way to to do a little switch.
They could have done something where they just put up black cards with given a description, and this person went on to they didn't do that. Martin Scorsese did an amazing creative way to wrap up the summaries of what what happened to these characters in this story at the end. I was just like, Jesus, man, that's brilliant. That's really good. Yeah, I'll say this. With this coming out on Apple Plus, I don't know if you need to go to the theater to see it. I'll say that right now. I'll say that because it's on Apple Plus. I would say definitely watch it. And if you have Apple Plus, yeah, by all means, yeah, I'll definitely watch it. But if you go to the theater, I'm not gonna say you're wasting your time. I'm not gonna say that you'll, you're gonna walk away feeling like you were cheated on your time. No, if you see it at the theater, it's worth it. It's worth it. It is worth the watch. It is. I don't, again, to reiterate, it does not need for me to be 3.5 hours, but definitely I'm glad I saw it. I enjoyed it very much, and I give it a full price.
Well, I might say maybe not 3.5 hours, but 3 hours and 15. I mean, splitting hairs. I certainly enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing it in the theater. I know you can see it on Apple TV Plus, but if you do like seeing movies in the theater, you get your money's worth. And not just because you get so much movie for whatever you paid, but just because it's just that good. But I got nothing but good things to say about this movie. It's a full price.
By the way, you won't have a choice but to see it at the theater if you want to see it immediately, because that's where they're opening it first before it goes to Apple Plus. Why? Because they want it to be eligible to win an Oscar, which it'll be nominated.
Yeah, and if by chance you're worried about it, because I know I was, it being the Irishman experience, it wasn't.
No, I can tell you right now, the Irishman, I would be pissed if I saw that at the theater.
Yeah, me too.
This right here, I only say that because people's time, is very valuable. 3.5 hours is a big chunk of time. So if you feel like you have to really be fit, it looks great. And on the big screen, I'm sure it looks amazing. But like, you know, if you can wait for it to be on Apple because you just don't have the time to do it, then all right, then you have that option there too. Like I said, I'm glad they give you a choice, but either way, it's not a bad thing. You know, it's definitely
Well,
a full price
I
movie.
mean, I agree with the thing about people's time, and at the same time, people spend a lot of that time binging a Netflix show, which will be more than 3 hours.
No, I do that. That's why I probably didn't care. I'll just sit down and watch 8 hours of a show just to do it for, a review. I don't like it, but I'll do it. So I'm used to it, man. So I don't know. I know what your threshold is for sitting down and watching a movie. But you got a choice. You just have to see this first in the theater if you just want to see it immediately. But yeah, full price, man. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would.